Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We are so excited to host a wonderful, wonderful presentation this evening, More Than Organs with Kay Barrett. My name is Carolina Alfaro. I'm the director of the Warrior Cross-Cultural Center here at Stanislaus State. We are so glad you could join us and be part of this event and share space with us today. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Today's event will be recorded and we do have live interpreters available for your needs. And so we want to say thank you. If at all you wish to hide your camera and not be part of the recording, we completely understand, and we want to just thank you anyways for still joining us. You may participate in the chat throughout the entire presentation. And feel free to also unmute afterwards, after the presentation, and ask questions or share your comments and thoughts with us today. Before we introduce our speaker, I would like to ask first if the co-chairs of the Asian Connection Club are here. I'm gonna see if there's anybody here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oscar?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, thank you. And I know Caitlin was going to share a few words on behalf of the Asian Connection Club. Would you like to share?
Yeah, she was busy, so instead I'm here.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
So this presentation, we want to give special thanks to our co-hosts and co-sponsors. We wouldn't be able to do this without a village. And so on behalf of the Warrior Cross Cultural Center, we want to thank everyone that's here with us, and also thank our sponsors, which are the Office of Disability Resource Services. We want to thank Basic Needs. We want to thank ASI, the Asian Connection Club, our Gender Studies program. We also want to give thanks to the Asian and Pacific Islanders Faculty and Staff Association and the LGBTQ plus mentorship program. Thank you so much for helping us co-host and co-sponsor today's presentation. Before I guess we also get started, I do want to spend just a moment to acknowledge that our campus sits on the unceded territories of the Northern Yokut peoples, indigenous peoples of this region. We want to give thanks to all the Natotomy tribes, the folks that are still present in our communities, that are protecting these lands, that are nurturing our Mother Earth, and really fighting every day against oppression to try to ensure that we live a healthier, more sustainable world. And so thank you to our indigenous communities that are still present in our region. So let's get started. We have just a short special time with our speaker today, and I would like to just give a brief presentation, introduction to our speaker today, and then we'll open it up. So Kay Ulanday Barrett is a poet, performer, and educator navigating life as a self-disclosed disabled Filipinx American transgender queer in the United States with struggle, resistance, and laughter. Kay is a 2021 Lambda Literary Finalist, 2021 Stonewall Award Honor Book Author, and Trans Justice Funding Project Panelist, also known as Round Boy. They have received fellowships from MacDowell, the Homeschool, Drunken Boat, Bona Voices, and the Lambda Literary Review. Kay has been featured on colleges and stages globally, and now here in our Central Valley campus here at Stan State. Please help me welcome Kay and as she shares some of her love with us, and let's showcase some of our love through the chat or using some of those reactions in Zoom. So thank you and welcome.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? Thank you so much. My name is Ulanday Barrett. My pronouns actually are he, they, and sha. And I'm currently located in the unceded and occupied land of the Lenape, Hoking, and Munsee peoples in New Jersey. As mentioned, I'm an award-winning poet, essayist, and honestly an A+ snapper. That's like my main gig. For your accessibility needs and just for active description, I am a brown round queer with short hair and with glasses. I am wearing a light purple hat and a gray collared shirt. I have COVID hair these days, so thank you so much for your patience. Yes, so just hi everybody and happy fall. I am so thrilled to be a part of this event with Warrior Cross Cultural Center because it can connect to how we directly work with communities in struggle, how we archive and embody trans, non-binary, gender spirit that is not in the confines of English or Western academic institutions. And for me, this means specifically disabled and sick communities. Before I start, as somebody who was raised in 90s hip hop and with Filipino organizers, I would love to start off with a call and response, and feel free to do what you need to do in the chat. So I know that I'm talking to the West Coast. I'm Filipinx, I'm Filipino, Pinoy. How many people know what an isang bagsak is, or how many Filipinx people do we have in this space? For me, there's this call and response called isang bagsak. It is created earlier by actually farm workers, right? And migrant workers. Filipinx organizers use this chant, and it translates to one hit or one witness. And it's done with a collective or community. So when we're in meetings, at protests, making decisions together, the first thing we like to do is an isang bagsak. And I just want people right now for this next 40 minutes or together to an hour, I would love for people to think of someone who needs a little extra care. We're still in the Panasonic, right? In the pandemic. Think about somebody who needs extra tenderness. That could be an ancestor, that could be a friend, that could even be yourself. And if you could take a deep breath, and we'll dedicate this time to this person. So when I say isang bagsak, we'll take a deep breath, and people can stomp, clap, or scream as they like. Y'all ready? Okay, take a deep breath. Isang bagsak. Isang bagsak. Isang bagsak. All right. So when I think of who taught me to honor land, to respect earth and climate, I think about my titas, my aunties. And this is for every auntie who's raised you, every auntie whose labor and care work are overlooked. Can everybody hear me? Can I get a thumbs up somewhere? Okay, we're good. Excellent. Aunties love it when the seafood is on sale. Argyle Red Line, Chicago, Illinois, June 1996. In the summertime, the women in my family spin sago like planets. Make even Saturn blush. They split the leaves of kangkong with riverbed softness. They are precise. Measure rice by palm lines with laughter, and season broth made from creatures' last gasps. You'd swear that they were teenagers again, talking gossip, stretching limbs, elastic, durable, like seaweed. Come dinner time, skilled mouths slurp through domes of shrimp and crab. My apologies. This is not a vegan poem. My aunties, they prize the fat. The angles of their teeth splinter claw, snap sinew, dip tart into sweet, then back again. Bitterness balanced, succulence on succulence is to find flesh from even the smallest of spaces. Women who swallow whole, who make a pile of bones, who suck teeth and taste every morsel until all that is left is a quiet room and shells of what once was. To the daughters of dried fishnets, whose dreams, dragged on sand, dragged to this country, they bring home recipe years later, flick joylents to garlic, salabat to the sick, culinary remix, teach my cousins, oi, this is how you stay alive in this cold country. Morning in the Midwest by taste. Afterwards, afterwards, they keep the ocean husks for another meal because to get a good deal is to double. And anybody from an island will tell you that that is where the true flavor is. And what is hunger anyway? But the carving out of emptiness, the learning to always save something for later. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have to open up with a food poem. I feel like in this world, food is what directly nourishes us, but what lifts up our hopes. So this event itself is dedicated to disabled community and just learning more about disability awareness. Last month was Disability Awareness Month. So I am a proud spoonie. I'm not sure if people know that term. I use the term disabled proudly. So if you want to Google the term spoonie, you can. It's an identifier, and spoons is a term of unit, of measurement, of energy and of time for sick and disabled people. As somebody who's disabled proudly, I'm not someone that needs fixing, but the US empire embedded in racism, ableism, misogyny, that's what needs to be fixed, right? The colonial project. So here's a poem for my loves with creaky joints, my cane users, my chair users, and people who knew isolation pre-pandemic. To be underwater and holy. Every survivor is splendor. Every spoon is sacred. Every cough is an altar on the bend of a rib cage. Every cane is a drum calling into the earth. You will be told that you are not worthy of a party. You will be told that you are not a celebration. So why exist at all? Because breath is an exhausted ship lapping the wind. Because your muscles are the fatigue of a sunset. And when our bodies are carnal waves collapsing, remember, together we can find the shore. Together we can rock and wave and rest and float together. We need to move together. Together we can rupture veins into storms, and together we can be the grit as promising as the sound of shells. Our lineage tells us that there will always be land and ocean in our bones. So after every shift of tide, no matter the catastrophe, please hold on if you can. Here's a promise, no? Dare to press an ear against my chest. And on this love, we'll grow scales for every current. We'll part every sea like scripture. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So, I have questions for you all. They are not rhetorical. They're just little points for us to discuss or just to think about. My questions are this. How do we prioritize Black and Indigenous people in our transgender non-binary struggle, in our POC struggle, in the work we do in racial justice, migrant justice? If that is not happening, right? If Black and Indigenous art, expertise, leadership aren't centered in, my curiosity is, how do white and non-Black light-skinned people, including myself, move back and redistribute wealth, right? Trans and non-binary struggles in the US began by Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. And if we aren't uplifting that spirit, those voices, Are we dedicated to disabled community? Are we dedicated to transgender and non-binary community? Are we dedicated to whatever we consider racial liberation? Or is it just watered down equality? So that's just something I ruminate with. This poem is for someone who fought and created joy for Black, Indigenous people of color who were queer and wonderful. Content warning for suicidal ideation as well as trans violence. When I'm trying not to jump like my brothers. This one always takes some prep. It doesn't matter if it's live or in Zoom, it's always a shaky one. One, because Caden called 911, because Kaite couldn't cry anymore, because there are boys, B-O-I, boys, whose chests that house hearts for a world that cannot stand their gasp. When leisure walk means to be harassed, dragged by hair, kicked in stalls, torso clash, discarded to tile, dude sneer, faggot. When I am not faggot enough. Whole cis men strike stares on subway. Whole men tell me tales of their penises like correction is only punctuation of just one night, 1 minute. That's all it'll take. Next, poof, I'll be a darling wife. My set of teeth, a bland picket fence. 2, the first time that I wore a men's suit as drag, my mother kept crying, why did we? Why did we even come to this country? As though I was the war, as though I was the bomb backdrop in her dreams that first time I cut my hair short. Follicles to the floor. My mother crowed, where is my little girl? Where is my child? And picture me on my knees, pleading to prove that I was not ghost. 3, there are no gay children in the hearts of mothers like mine, just mistakes, killable kin. My people don't make headlines. You know what it is to get a Facebook message, Twitter, Instagram post, text message with the face of the dead, friend, pupil, glare grief, but you laughed with them. Weeks earlier, months earlier, how? I saw them at the protest or fundraiser. 4, I was about 18 when my friend A flung himself off a cliff. Brown boys don't turn into men without fighting men on stoops, blood varnished at house parties by men cousins, by men uncles. A teenager thought better to face flat rocks on California bluff could be better and more solace than frowns of blood family. 5, a bluff. A bluff, you see, is a double entendre for precipice, as in calling your, sometimes considered a scam, a sham. A bluff also known as out loud, as forthright. See also bordering a river, coastal crest. My gender, our gender, so brazen, we must be silenced, surrendered. Tell me, can you hear us? Trying not to shatter into the ground. Thank you. So oftentimes, I think, let me get a water break. Y'all have water and snacks? Get some water and snacks, not hydrate. I know you all are in still the time of brunch, so please enjoy whatever you're doing. I don't know how many poetry heads there are in this group, or if people write poetry. If you're like, I only write in my journal, that could be poetry too, y'all. If you write laundry lists, grocery lists, poetry, no? So for those of you who aren't poet heads, I'm gonna introduce the cento poem. Do any people know what a cento is? C-E-N-T-O. Anybody in the chats? Voila. Okay, usually they're really geeky people or people who don't have a clue. So I'm gonna gather you all don't have a clue. That's okay, we're skill sharing, community building. A cento when I was an undergrad in English class, my white, straight American professor described centos as poems where white Anglo-Saxon poets would take and excerpt different poems and then build a new poem. No? And me so eagerly, I was raising my hand, I was like, ooh, so wait, if a white person steals something, that's a poem, like a bunch of stolen conversations and pieces, lines, stanzas, you can make that a poem. But if a Black or brown person does it, that's plagiarism. I got a B in that class. So I think that's part of it. But this cento poem is called You Are So Brave, and it's a found poem. And I don't know how many people have been told in their life, it happens a lot to disabled people. Disabled people can become areas of pity, the pity model, right? The medical model of getting fixed, or the inspo, the inspiration porn model, right? You are so brave. And I think I've had a lot of white older colleagues also say that to me as a non-Black person of color. I've had that said to me when I used to identify as a woman, as a trans person. It's like, you are so brave. And so essentially this poem is an ethnographic study. I just use ethnographic at universities because everybody uses the term ethnographic, but nobody can really explain what the fuck ethnographic means. So just trying to vibe with academia. This poem is a found poem. So this means that they are quotes from various sick and disabled, specifically Black, Indigenous people of color. And I said, let's create a poem. So you are sitting on the bus, right? You're sitting on the bus and you overhear some person say something anti-Black. Okay, you are in class and you hear the professor or another student say something homophobic. You are at dinner, right? You are with your family and somebody says something really, really ableist or sexist. We create a poem from all those things. Cool. So here we are. You are so brave. And context warning. I feel like my whole show should just have a content warning and be like rough stuff, rough-ish. So it starts with an epigraph by Nyosake Shange. And those scars I had hidden with smiles and good fucking lay open. And I don't know any more tricks. I'm really colored and I'm really sad sometimes. And you hurt me. Nyosake Shange. Oh, what happened? Oh, sweetie, let me get that for you. What do you mean? No, thank you. You don't want my help? Some people are just ungrateful. I was helping you. You are so brave. Please step on the scale. Please step on the scale. Please step off the scale. You are so brave. I've never seen someone on the dance floor or protest move like that. What a pill. Hey, can I touch your cane? Does it hurt? Quote, people with disabilities are often seen as flawed beings whose hope of normalcy rests in becoming more like non-disabled people or by becoming cured. Sins invalid. Okay, so when will you get better? Don't worry, everything will be normal soon. If you just try hard enough, you will heal. If you just pray hard enough, you will heal. Have you tried acupuncture, water therapy, meditation, singing the Star Spangled Banner backwards in your homeland tongue, only on a Scorpio moon? If you take these herbs enough, you can be like you were, better, normal. Okay, why are you walking so slow? This is the city of hustle, son. Buck up, dear blank. I understand that you have accessibility needs, and we as a queer or person of color or radical progressive organization love your work. But unfortunately, we find your requests for accessibility to be unrealistic. We understand that you are queer and transgender and a person of color with limited income, but we cannot fund you at this time. Please do, though, send us samples of your work so that we may distribute them to our participants for free. Dear, insert assigned at birth name you no longer identify with and pronoun you no longer identify with. It has come to our attention that you are 100% disabled. You cannot work at all. Does it hurt still? Classification. No prolonged standing, walking, steel pin impacted, osteonectomy, Aiken, McBride. Constant deviance in the foot based on affected use. Constant deviance. Cane usage to support impediments and prolonged limp. Oh my! Oh, look at that hair. Okay, do you have a boyfriend to come to physical therapy with you? Seen as flawed, whose hope of normalcy rests in becoming more like non-disabled people or by becoming cured. All right. Okay, for the report, we're going to have to see some ID. Wait, that can't possibly be you. Oh, you were so attractive once. What happened? Please step on the scale. So, you were attacked. What did you do to motivate the attack? Okay, so I'm looking at this, at your paperwork, and I just have a question for you. What does LGBTQ mean? LGBTQ? LGBTQ? There aren't even any vowels in it. Well, ma'am, we have to use the biological sex it says on the paperwork. You know, it'd be nice if you just wore some lipstick, maybe some makeup. It might make this process a whole lot easier for you. Does it hurt still? Hasn't it been years now? Psh, why aren't you better? Based on your old life, don't you want to be more like me? Hey, do you have a fundraiser? Look, I don't know any disabled people personally, but we can raise funds to help you because we think you deserve it. This is the city of hustle, son. Buck up. You don't know what you are doing. Give me that. Oh, how do you even know how to take care of yourself? Oh, you are so slow. It's hard to imagine you could do anything for yourself at all. You are so pathetic. Does it hurt still? Still. Yo, hey, yeah. Hey, friend, we're all going to the club. There should be some cuties there. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, dude. I forgot. Yeah, there are stairs. Oh. The march is 2.5 miles long. Maybe you can just meet us at the rally? Oh, look at that little boy with the cane. Why do I have to get up? You want my seat, faggot? So, you were attacked. What? Why do I have to get up, chink? Yeah, he doesn't, he wants that seat, but he doesn't even look disabled. If you have any questions or concerns around safety at this event, conference, protest, you should really bring them up. Bring up these concerns with a cisgender, rad, skinny, able-bodied person who confuses wellness work for everybody gets better work. Wait, is that a girl? Oh, you look so cute when you dance. Let me take a picture of you holding your back. Show the cane, show the cane. What did you do for somebody to attack you? Okay, we'll help you because we think you deserve it, not like some people with disabilities. You know, the ones that drool and make a fuss. You'll be normal soon, won't you? Oh, it's not that far. It's just a few blocks. Oh, I know you're in pain, dude, but you can make it, dude. I believe in you. What do you mean, no, thank you? You don't want my help? Please step on the scale. Please step on the scale. Please step off the scale. Thank you so much. Let's get some water, some deep breaths. I didn't write that poem. This is quotes from all of y'all, from community, from people who've are, if that, I remember I had a white abled editor looking at that poem and they're like, oh, this poem is so confusing. There's so much going on here. It's so frustrating. I can't get my head around it. And I was like, if it hurts you to read it, imagine living it, each line, nah? So let's take that deep breath. It's an intense poem. And let's move into something lighter. I'm gonna have some tubig, some water. Usually I perform for hyper gay audiences, so I don't want to make any assumptions. But how many people here believe in astrology? If you do, cool. I am a Virgo sun and an Aries moon and rising. That means I am highly organized with Post-its galore, and also that I like to do spontaneous stuff. Like, let's jump off this cliff, let's do this, let's go to this protest, let's fight them. But there will be color-coded folders and itineraries along the way, right? And I think oftentimes I'm told that astrology is a joke. And I think, well, what else do queer and transgender non-binary people, what are we supposed to believe in, right? What are Black, Indigenous people of color supposed to believe in? Because the systems of government in this empire, right? The medical complex, the police state have failed us entirely, like destructed our communities and are still doing so. So queers deserve to dream. And I say aim for the freaking moon. I say aim for the stars and planets. So this is Tools to Survive Mercury in Retrograde. If you don't know what that is, Mercury comes around sometimes and you're like, oh, I got a great job, I'm doing wonderful. No, you don't. Oh, I'm seeing this beautiful person, my marriage or partnership's going great. No, it's not. Oh, you just think you have it handled. And Mercury's like, no, boo. Here you go. Tools to Survive Mercury in Retrograde. Hide. That's it. That's the fucking poem. Don't read old journals. You'll hate your poetry anyway, because let's face it, boo. No, it's not very good. Burrow your head into every crease of the bed. Talk to no one. Embrace the mercurial by yourself. Take everything personally. Take heed of your sharpness. Take stock of your softness. Watch YouTube vids of fluffy, pudgy baby animals. Keep the protein close. Let the aches in. They're choreographed to the impending storm clouds anyway. Reach out once, then curl into your skin at the speed of raindrops. Take nothing personally. Light candles on your altar. Crave any random sets of foods not at your disposal. Much better to crave green mango and pampano rather than the people they actually remind you of. Regret doesn't deserve an answer. And believe it or not, now is not the time for 90s R&B jams, salty snacks, and the gluttonous. Make sure nobody quotes you on that last statement. Hollow to the radius of any loss or any win. Let the wind through this gap of you. Remember, the guilt, it wasn't always yours to keep. Wipe residue off your altar. Let the rain on your face be a proper disguise. Drink cups of water on the hour. Let the dogs be a shield of oxytocins and paw pads. Let the cats be a shield of oxytocins and paw pads. Let the lizards, look, I don't really fuck with lizards, but sure, you do you. Just let them be a shield. If you can't howl, pay no mind. Your joints will do it for you. You know this already. Clasp your knees to your chest. Lullaby it out. Love. Let her go. Want. Let them go. Don't eat all the pastries in that goddamn fridge. Look, we all know I always eat the pastries, but the problem isn't that you are not enough. The gift is that you are incredibly all too much. Hum yourself through. Your spirit will do it for you. If crumpled up, now is not the time to underestimate yourself. Remember, the fetal position is a damn fine place to write. Thank you, thank you. All right, we've got 2 more poems down. We went through the stars. We talked about ableism. Let me see. This next poem. Tell a child about something that causes you fear or dread. With gratitude to Samia Bashir. It's okay. It's okay to be just wound sometimes, to gape, to cry, to rock, to shiver, to rumble, to ramshackle, to shiver, to shake ancestors in your sleep, to be part dead, to razor, to lash, to hammer, to hang, to be the thing that flails, to be cathedral, to be gravestone, to speak cobweb. Let me tell you, to die every day is the kind of pulse that makes music. To be the kid who leans against books more than people, to be the book as it opens and closes and folds in on itself on the same paragraph, to be that underlined stanza whose body bursts, syntax scars naked. Love body. When it emblazons family curse, when you are bad joke at the table, when you are shuffled scrapes of forks, that weirdo told to shut up, forsaken. Let the lonely make lens so clear that you become intergalactic. Let the residue be a blanket that you shed every season. Let your gaze be salve and sign of the cross. Let you be blessing no one understands. Let you be words a stranger waits for. Let you be bunker you crawl into. Let you guffaw. Let you cackle. Let you be last one left. Let you be last one. Let you be last. Let you be. Let you. Let. Okay, so I think this is my last one, but I just want to thank you all for sitting here with me with poems in mind. And there's a Q&A, so feel free, jot down what you need. We are in a time where trans people are legislatively being banned, right? Trans young people, trans Black and Latin women specifically killed at astronomical rates. And currently there are 70 bills or more targeting trans people, 25 of them focused on trans healthcare, right? And some focusing on blocking sports for young people. And that's previous and it's still ongoing. I don't want, when we think of trans, I don't want it to only think about just gender or sexuality, but it's connected to race and ability, right? There are trans people who are migrants or undocumented, who are imprisoned or deported from ICE, and they're not able to get testosterone and or get their hormones and or get their medications, right? When we discuss Sylvia Rivera, we discuss how she was in a hospital, chronically ill, and wasn't able to get gender affirming care, you know, while she's or they are chronically ill and sick. So these things aren't separate. And I think there's this mainstream white liberal goal where it's like, we have trans people in the military, and that's like this fake equality, right? But what does that mean for someone like me, whose family comes from the Philippines, colonially still under a US dictatorship, right? I don't want trans people in the military fighting on my homeland or other people's homelands. When there are trans people there too, right? I want all trans people to live. I want all disabled people to live, not just the American ones or the white ones or the rich ones or, you know, people who are just abled, right? There's no selective liberation. That's not how this works. It's not a pick and choose your own adventure, Scantron test. Liberation is for all of us, right? So when we're not including disabled people at the front, trans people, non-binary people at the center, then that's just something we have to question ourselves, right? So, you know, my question is, how many people here identify as Black and or Indigenous here? How many people identify as people of color? How many people here identify as queer? How many people here identify as sick and disabled, or mad, or neurodivergent, or deaf or blind? This poem is for people who are all the things. This poem is for Asian American and femme and women and queer people who face so much in this country, in this ache. And this is my love poem. I don't really write a lot of romantico love poems. It's usually like to family or friends. So this is my love poem to you. And this is my last poem. Brownout shouts. This is for Matea, who dances the bomba with hands that crest moon hips and who admittedly kisses harder than she loves herself. Every transgender queer fuchi fairy stud AG butch queen, anything with roots arches toward her, nah? Their palms are like petals soaking up her light. And this is for my student, hard ass Chris, who doesn't want anything to do with Brasso or that JROTC uniform, but just wants 3 meals a day for his brother and a brand new binder for their chest. This poem is for Javi, who likes to take his tequila quick. This is for Aqua Star Black, because they had the bravery to rename themselves Aqua Star Black. And sometimes you just gotta call out your own power because no one else is gonna do it for you. Maria is a dancer, clasping onto hardwood by the heels, serves our coffee at the diner, always with a smile and always with her hair on point. She's pissed off because her partner can't afford to go to the hospital. And although you can't see it, her heart breaks because there are no papers or government that can explain how this person in the bed makes her laugh like a guttural fool. This is for JP, who draws sketches, sneaking them into your purse or your wallet. This is for my comrade Saliani, whose caliber demands at the very least of her lovers or paramours or metamours or dates or play partners, whatever language we're using now, have the following traits: dexterity, initiative, and someone who can lay it down. Okay, sometimes when I'm in cis straight circles, I have to translate that language as lay it down being code for fisting. So just FYI, we're doing a lingual cultural share there. All right. For every sun shaped in bullets, your heart is compact as a trigger. Your voice is sharp wind song that wants to lay a forehead down on the chest of your boyfriend. Let your letters survive the wars, the jail cells. Let the meter of your words swoon your lover back to the bed as you take turns turning off the alarm with the nightstand with your toes, elbows, orgasms, and in between kisses for that one lonely Korean guy, Jake, who found me in a group of 500 white people, very white, in the frenzy of the Sugar Club in Dublin, Ireland. I make do, he said. We've got one grocery store and I practically live there. I mean, my kimchi is decent, not like my umm's. And we can all see him shrugging in the strobe lights, hungry for somewhere else. This poem is for you this afternoon. Spring cleaning your blues away, and maybe you're in your favorite t-shirt. Maybe you called in sick. Maybe your body rattles. Maybe you're missing your familia back home. Maybe you are waiting for that next hormone shot to find home in yourself. And maybe your voice is hoarse from asking strangers for food. Maybe you just lost a loved one, or you're about to lose yourself. Lost in the whimsy of musical notes. The rhythms can consume the sadness if you let it. This is for my dearest Sarwat, who sat on a hill, held up the sun, looking out at all the fine transgender and queer people of color at this conference and said, without saying, yeah, little brother, I'm not going to that plenary workshop or speech, whatever. You go on ahead. I'm going to stay right here. These people look too good. I deserve this. For Espanol, Pangasinan, Patois Pidgin, Mandarin love poems you write for those baby dykes and trans youth who sprout out from neighborhoods described to tourists as, don't go there, it's dangerous, rolling up their windows from our existence. For you who fights for our rights, for you who laughs too loud, for you who supposedly eats too much, for you who twists wrist by paintbrush, for you. Because you will not let your spirit pass up a sunset or a protest, even when you think you deserve less sometimes, for you. Because there's a brownout right now, and by that I mean there's no electricity, which means life is crashing and pouring down. And by that I mean I am lonely, which really means that we are brown and trans and queer and out. And we've been told too many times that all of those cannot exist at once. That based on those odds, we equal death. For you, for us, for we, because without explanation, we exist in you. You, like all of our ancestors before, you live it so fiercely that even when injustice sets in, this rumbling sky houses your breath. And that is better than any survival story. That is joy being born. Thank you so much, Stan State. Thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna do our chant. Again, one clap, we sung Bug Suck. If we can just take a deep breath and think about that person, people, or yourself you honored today. Now, so let's just take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. When I say isang Bug Suck, in the chat or in general, people can stomp, clap, or scream as you like. Ready? Isang bagsak, isang bagsak, isang bagsak. Thank you so much, WCCC. Thank you, Carolina Alfaro. Thank you, the ASL interpreters, for this event. Thank you, Andrea, for all your time and your savvy. And thank you for having poetry during your brunch, your afternoon. I mean, I'm a poet and it takes a lot for me to get down on poetry on a weekday. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Kay.